Thanks for joining me today, Dr. Bruce. Last week was there was an event for fibromyalgia, supporting people with fibromyalgia, trying to get awareness about fibromyalgia. Have a lot of friends actually that have fibromyalgia. I talk to them on a daily basis about regenerative medicine and how regenerative medicine could help support them in what they're dealing with. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, first of all, you bring up a big point that needs to be supported. Fibromyalgia is a true thing. Saying that it's not is just unkind. It is a catch-all, though. I mean, that's fair. So if you do look at the science behind it, hey, you have this symptom, this one, this one, this one. Well, we're going to call that fibromyalgia now. It does settle in certain places in the body. But the symptom load can be a long enough list that, that could be anything, and that's why we need to be able to honestly bring forth, hey, you know what, fibromyalgia is a very real thing. There are a lot of people who deal with it. It's not a joke. It's not in their head. It might be in their gut, honestly. That's an interesting thing, but it very well might be. But you've got to rewrite something to make that better. And so having said that, there's lots of, I really am glad that they're bringing it to the public, but there's lots of treatments for it. There are a lot of those, they'll get harsher and harsher. They kind of go into the anti-inflammatory side, and then once the anti-inflammatories don't work, they go steroidal, and once the steroids don't work, then you're just kind of, you got to deal with that. And I think you mentioned too that some of your friends feel as though they've been experimented upon.
Yeah, there's quite a few that just they get it's almost like they get promised something, so they have hope in it, and then their hope dies. And then they get promised something again, and they're like, I'm in pain, I want to be out of pain. And of course they want to be out of pain.
Yeah.
And they take whatever it is that they're prescribed, and it's this hope again, this feeling of joy, and then they get let down again. It's just that cycle, specifically for this one for some reason with fibromyalgia.
Well, you bring up a terrific point, and that simply is that fibromyalgia is a toxic moment in the body. We've known that forever. We do know that. That's not even really in question. The problem is if you add a toxin in, even if it shuts down the symptom of pain, you added a toxin in. So there is no acceptable level of ibuprofen. So, the reason why you have fibromyalgia is because your ibuprofen level is too low. Is never going to be part of medical science, right? So you've added in a toxin, and it calms it down for a while. Steroids, the same thing. You add in the steroid, and that calms it down for a while. But there's no level of steroid that's really necessary in this case, right?
So what would, talking about regenerative medicine at our clinic,
rewrite the code.
What would that look like for someone that came in with fibromyalgia?
Yeah, so, here again, you want to support the system. The system's in a toxic moment. So being able to rewrite or support that system is really more important than everything. We also give them good information on how to detoxify the body carefully. Now, the fact is, 100 years ago, there was no fibromyalgia. You never heard of it. It's not in any of the medical literature. It's not something, hey, I have this obscure thing where my whole body hurts sometimes, That didn't happen. So we know that somehow through agriculture, likely, or something else, whatever has occurred, that we have a load on us, a toxic load on us that's new. It's not something our body knows how to deal with. And some of us respond with fibromyalgia. So what happens is you wind up with this inflammatory cascade all through the body.
Yep.
What you don't want to do is shut down the inflammatory cascade. That's there to try to help. But what you do want to do is maybe can we grow out of it? Can we grow it and make it better? And so your regenerative medicine actually puts RNA into those inflamed cells and tells them you don't have to yell anymore. Because that's what's happening. The cells are all yelling, hey, I need help over here. And the regenerative medicine actually makes them stronger and more capable to handle the environment. So you wind up with a supported human system, a supported body that simply doesn't have to make that noise anymore.
Yeah, so there's an immune response where the cells are asking for help, and then there's also that inflammatory response where things are just not working like they should.
Right. It's almost like your body's trying to attack itself. They make fibromyalgia can be likened to the story of the monkeys, the cold water, and the banana. And we talked about that, you and I, one time. I think we were together in our first meetings. But basically that story is that there's a bunch of monkeys that climb up a ladder to get to a banana. When they do, they get hosed down with cold water, and they don't like that, so they just don't do it. They don't do it. So when they bring in a new monkey that's never done it before, that starts to go up the ladder to get the banana, the monkeys will actually say, pull him back down. No, you don't want to go up there. After a while, you can keep introducing new monkeys to where there's a monkey that has never been hosed down with water ever, but won't allow other monkeys to go up after the banana, right? Because that's what they're trained. They know that you just don't do that, right? Interestingly enough, our body kind of follows that rule. If you're injured or if you're in a toxic load and you're trying anyway, a lot of fibromyalgia patients just try to push right through it. Yep. And I'm really impressed with them. They hurt, but they're going to do it anyway. And they keep doing that, and they keep doing that. Well, then the cells, in this case, that would be the monkey, start to make a lot of noise and say, hey, don't, right? After a while, the next cell that's made from that cell, remember all cells replicate, that has only known an inflamed environment. It's never known an environment where anti-inflammation was even possible. Yeah. So eventually you get a whole bunch of cells that are new that respond just like the old cells, but they may not even be under the same load. So what you want to do is introduce new information. You can climb up the ladder and get the banana, and nobody's going to hose you down with ice water, right? Yeah. That's what you got to do. And I know it sounds silly, but that's a 30,000 foot view of what you do when you do regenerative medicine. You basically punch a reset button, but you also have to do other things. And I'm a big fan of how people sleep, think, eat, and move. And you have to do some modifications in those two if you want to get, but we have a very high success rate with fibromyalgia simply because of that.
Yeah. All right. Well, if someone wants some more information, wants to have a conversation with you or one of our other providers, they can call us at 816-454-5433, or you can like, share, and comment on this.